Number 19. The process by which nylon is manufactured releases large amounts of the gas nitric oxide. So when you produce nylon, you have this gas nitric oxide, which is harmful to the environment. So if you produce nitric oxide, it's harmful. So since the processing of cotton fiber does not release environmentally harmful gases, there would be less environmental damage done if cotton fiber rather than nylon were used to make products such as thread and rope. So this is saying, hey, we have this gas, nitric oxide, that's really harmful, that's released whenever we're making nylon. So if we just switch this nylon out with cotton fiber, we are going to cause less environmental damage overall, right? So this question is asking us to weaken the argument. And so if we're trying to weaken the argument, we're trying to say, hey, maybe there wouldn't necessarily be less environmental damage if we switch out the nylon with cotton for this product, right? We're specifically talking about this thread and rope product. So let's look at our answer choices. A, even if the quantity of nitrous oxide released into the environment decreased, many environmental problems would remain unsolved. Well, A is just saying, hey, even if we made this switch and we decreased the amount of this gas that was released, there's still going to be issues out there. Well, does that really weaken the argument? No, because even if many environmental problems remain unsolved, you could still have less environmental damage overall, right? So that doesn't necessarily weaken our argument. So that's probably not going to be our answer. B, even if only some of the thread and rope that is currently being made from nylon were instead made from cotton fiber, some environmental damage would be avoided. Well, that's very much in line with the argument that they're saying here, right? That would only support the argument. So that's not going to be weakening it, because they're telling us, hey, we're going to have less environmental damage, and my environmental damage would be avoided. And the stimulus is saying less environmental damage, right, if we make this switch. So both of those are in line. C, if cotton fiber replaced nylon in the production of thread and rope, there would be a resulting increase in the amount of nylon used in other manufacturing products. So we know from earlier, hey, if we use nylon, it produces this gas and it's harmful to the environment. So this is saying, hey, even though we can switch out nylon with cotton for this one product, this is saying that would only result in nylon being used more for other products. So if you're using more nylon for other products, you're releasing more of this gas, and it's even more harmful to the environment, right? Which is saying the opposite of what our stimulus is saying, because our stimulus is saying less environmental damage. D is saying more environmental damage, right? Oh, no, C is saying more environmental damage. So that does weaken the argument, right? So C would be a really good answer choice. Let's also check out D and E. D, if the quantity of nylon manufactured annually decreased substantially, the volume of several pollutants that are released into the environment during its manufacture would be reduced. So this is saying, hey, if you decrease how much nylon you're manufacturing, the pollutants are going to go down. Well, that's in line with less environmental damage, right? So that's only going to support the argument. We can cross out D. E, if thread and rope continue to be made from nylon, the production of cotton fiber will not increase rapidly as it would if all thread and rope were to be made from cotton fiber. So this is saying, hey, if you continue to stick with nylon, cotton production isn't going to increase, and that doesn't really tell us anything about more or less environmental damage, right? This is a scenario. E is giving us a scenario, a hypothetical, where we continue to use nylon, but that's not a scenario that our stimulus is even talking about, right? Our stimulus is talking about if we make the switch. E is just telling us about a scenario where if we continue to use nylon, it's saying, hey, we're not going to be producing as much cotton. And yeah, as if we're not going to be using as much cotton as if it would be if we used cotton to make all thread and rope. Well, that doesn't really tell us much about our original stimulus, right? It doesn't really strengthen or weaken. So C would be our answer here.